the sun moves into Sagittarius November 21st at 11:56 a.m., immediately forming a sextile to Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius, the power of the vision. Happy Sagittarius season. This is a very unique and special Sagittarius season, as the sun's ingress forms the very first major aspect to Pluto, newly in Aquarius at 0 degrees, marking the beginning of the new world, the beginning of a completely new era for humanity that will be unfolding over the next 20-year arc. Hello, my name is Eliane Nicole. I'm your astrologer and tarot reader. And in this video, I'm going to talk about Sagittarius season, the sun moving through Sagittarius, and why this Sagittarius season is so unique, because the ingress chart immediately forms the first major aspect to Pluto, newly in Aquarius. But first, I want to say, if you're watching this on Instagram, I'm only going to post the first 5 minutes here. The entire video will be available on my YouTube channel, Eliane Nicole. My YouTube channel is my name, Eliane Nicole. Please find me there. I'll put the link in the profile bio at Instagram to get there. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Please hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Please like, please comment, please share. Helps me in the algorithm, helps me grow my business and my community and my channel, and puts me in a position to continue to give these free astrological offerings. If you're watching on Instagram, please make sure that you're following astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. Please like, please comment, please share. Free for you and very helpful to me. And now, without further ado, I am going to talk about this year, 2024's Sagittarius season, and why it's so unique and special. And first off, I want to give a shout out to all my Sagittarius friends and viewers out there. Happy birthday. It's your season. I love Sagittarius. I'm a Libra. But when I look back over my life since I was a teenager, I think I've always had the most fun, hands down, with my Sagittarius friends. Sagittarius knows how to have a good time. And, if you have any Sagittarians in your life, get them the gift of a reading for their birthday. I make really cute gift certificates, and I can make one for your Sagittarius friends and family. You can buy them a gift of a reading. It's a great time to get a reading, to look ahead at the exciting 2025 cosmic landscape. But yeah, this Sagittarius season is unique. It's the first one in our lifetimes that we've seen of this particular unique flavor, because Pluto, god of the underworld, god of transformation and rebirth and regeneration, has just moved into Aquarius on November 19th, 2 days before the sun moved into Sagittarius. And so as the sun moves in at 0 degrees Sagittarius, it's forming this harmonious sextile with Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius. And this is really the first major aspect of a planet we're seeing to Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius. So it's really, I feel like, I love that the first aspect that we're seeing is a positive aspect. Sextiles are of the nature of Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. So they're harmonizing angles, and the sun is in Sagittarius, the fiery, yang, mutable temple of Jupiter, and Pluto is in Aquarius, the airy, fixed temple of Saturn. And but Saturn is currently in Pisces, which is the watery, yin, mutable temple of Jupiter. So Jupiterian energy is large and in charge, you know, right now as this ingress happens. And Jupiter is the planet of grace and good fortune and expansion. And, you know, when I think of the Sagittarius sun forming a sextile with Pluto and Aquarius, Sagittarius and Aquarius are two of the most visionary signs of the zodiac. They're visionary in different ways. Sagittarius is that fiery, you know, visionary, like, you know, Sagittarius is shooting for its target. It's the archer. So it's in action. It's galloping towards its target. It's shooting at its target with confidence and vitality and optimism and faith that it's going to hit its target. And Aquarius is more mental and kind of visualizing its ideal future, like, you know, and so together they are, I don't know, it's just this very visionary energy. And I feel like, yeah, that's why I called this video The Power of the Vision, because it's up to all of us right now to create the vision of the new world. I mean, we are stepping into it. There's no turning back. You know, the Pluto and Capricorn era that we've been in since 2008 is done. You know, this Capricornian world is crumbling, and it is up to us to create the vision of the new world. And it's up to all of us. We're all under the same sky. And the vision of the new world, it's not just up to Donald Trump. It's not up to Donald Trump's cabinet. It's not up to, you know, the world leaders. It's up to all of us. And that's what this ingress of the sun in Sagittarius, immediately forming the sextile to Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius. You know, 0 degrees is the point of all possibilities. It's ground zero, you know, and from there anything can be built. But the power of the vision is that it's like we have to have the vision to build it. We have to have the vision to create it. And we can't just put that vision in other people's hands. Yeah, you know, people on planet Earth who are called visionaries are the people who have the ability to see things before others can, and then bring those things into fruition, into being. And we see that with artists, or we see that with, you know, prophets. We see that with, you know, entrepreneurs. We see that in different types of people, but everyone, it's a part of all of our makeup to access that if we don't just sit by unaware and put it in the hands of others to create the vision for us. And one of the first things we can do is take things out of the idea realm and put them down on paper. That's the first step in bringing it from that, you know, Sagittarius, the fire represents the source energy, and the air represents the consciousness and the collective consciousness, and, like, you know, pulling it down from that place into earth. The first step is writing it. That's the first step of bringing it into physical form. Writing down what our vision is with great specificity and clarity, whether it's the vision for the business we want to grow, or the creative life that we want to have, or the relationship we want to have, or, you know, the home we want to have, or the traveling we want to do. Or everyone has different visions that they want to bring into life, you know, and it's not the same for all of us. But what is the same for all of us is that we can take it out of the idea realm and bring it into the physical realm, first by writing it down with as much clarity and specificity as possible, and then reading that every morning and starting our day. And then, you know, of course, having gratitude for everything that we already have, that we've already realized in our lives. And the Sagittarius and Aquarius energy coming together in that harmonious sextile just really makes me think of that, the power of the vision. And yeah, that is the beginning of Sagittarius season. And the Sagittarius, as Sagittarius season starts, we are still in the lunar cycle of the Scorpio new moon. And so if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch that video, because that talks about the lunar cycle we're in, which culminated with the Taurus full moon. And now as the sun enters Sagittarius, we are in the waning side of, you know, the full moon until the new moon of Sagittarius, which isn't until November 30th. So the Sagittarius sun is coming in before the Sagittarius lunar cycle begins. But you know, right before the sun entered Sagittarius, it was at 29 degrees Scorpio. And at 29 degrees Scorpio, it was making a grand water trine. You know, as I record this video, actually, on November, what's today? November 19th, I'm recording this video. We're in the grand water trine, and it is the sun in the last degrees of Scorpio, Neptune in the last degrees of Pisces, and the moon is in Cancer, the last degrees of the Cancer moon. And grand water trines are so much about, you know, generosity and empathy and compassion, emotion, emotional intelligence, emotional sensitivity, intuition, flow, you know, and I just feel like there's a lot of hope in this sky, which there's a lot of really positive alignments that are happening, and it's just reminding me and hopefully reminding all of us that there is a lot of beauty in this world. There is just a lot of good, despite the fact that there's also all of these wars that are going on and nuclear threats ramping up, which is also, you know, Pluto is very nuclear. And Pluto reflects back to us our fears and the shadow of the world. And so it is very normal for there to be a lot of fear circulating as Pluto enters a new sign, a lot of fear for the future, and a lot of fear around Aquarian topics like technology and, you know, mental health issues and, you know, extraterrestrials, you know, surveillance, whatever all the fears are that are going on, nuclear war possibly, you know. But these beautiful trines and sextiles remind us that although the world may be a shit show, life is still beautiful, and we can lean into that, and we have the power to create a vision for the new world and to build that new world. You know, Pluto in harmonious aspects can be very empowering, and when it's in difficult aspects, it can be very disempowering and mark things like domination and abuse and fear and grief and all of those things. But as he enters Aquarius, this first aspect with the Sagittarius sun really offers a ray of hope that I very much appreciate. The world is transforming at an exponential pace right now, and our vision work is more important than ever. You know, any babies born at this alignment, by the way, who are born at with the 0 degrees Sagittarius, sextile 0 degrees Pluto and Aquarius, I feel like are going to be the visionaries of our era. You know, they'll be coming of age, they'll be turning 20 as Pluto is leaving Aquarius, and they will be the visionaries of, you know, the new Piscean era that will be beginning after that. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. That's in like 2044, but they're being born with this alignment baked into their chart, which I just love. So anyway, I want to talk about some of the aspects that the sun will be making as it journeys through Sagittarius. On the 26th through the 27th, the sun will be trining the North Node in Aries and Mars in Leo at 5 degrees through. So grand fire trines, you know. So we just had a grand water trine, you know, right before the sun ingress Sagittarius. And then on the 26th through the 27th of November, we're going to have this grand fire trine. So the water trine was like the 18th through the 20th of November. And then the grand fire trine will be the 26th through the 27th. And so fire trines are like action and inspiration and motivation, and you know, it's real championship energy, it's winning energy, it's like, it's very warm, and it's about like courage and encouragement and yeah, inspired action. And I love the energy there. The North Node gives it this feeling of aligning with higher purpose and taking action towards higher purpose. You know, Mars is in Leo, so that's so courageous and valiant, and you know, all of these kinds of qualities. You know, this is kind of energy for breaking athletic records. You know, it's great for athletes. Yeah, what else do I want to say? So December 4th through 7th, we're getting into the mutable T-square. So that is the sun in Sagittarius with square Saturn in Pisces, square Jupiter in Gemini. So I talked about this a bit in my Saturn stationing direct video. If you haven't already watched the Saturn stationing direct video, also watch the Pluto into Aquarius video. These videos give context to more of the backdrop of what's going on astrologically. But the mutable T-square is, it's one of the tougher aspects in contrast to all of the inspiration and alignment that is going on with the fire trine. The mutable T-square is, it's more emotional. It can be a little bit more melancholy. This is more of the crisis and faith energy that's out there. And again, these aspects are personal to you depending on your own personal astrology. So that grand fire trine is going to be very personal to people who have any planets at 5 degrees of any of the fire signs, or even, five degrees of any of the fire signs. That's going to be a very lucky and uplifting and inspired transit for you. If you don't have it, any personal planets there, it may not be as personal to you, but you might be reading about it in the headlines with some of your favorite entertainers or favorite athletes or favorite world leaders or whatever your favorites are. It may be in the art you're taking in, the books you're reading, the movies you're watching, whatever. You know, like the aspects that are going on in the sky that we don't experience personally are still taking a place in the collective. So we may see it when we're out and about or with whatever we're reading or taking in. This mutable T-square is going to be personal to people who have planets at 13 degrees of any of the mutable signs. And This is more about the changing world and the uncertainties as everything is shifting. And this is more like just this part of our charts where everything is in flux and there isn't certainty about where it's all going to land. And this aspect requires a lot of flexibility and adaptability. It can bring up some of the heavier emotions. Saturn in Pisces can be very melancholy, very contemplative, and this can be about the borders changing, the structures in our life changing, and needing to have some flexibility around that. This can be situations that are bringing up a crisis of faith and requiring a great deal of emotional intelligence and emotional maturity to kind of wade through. There's a lot about, re-examining our values, re-examining our overall philosophy on life, and, just shifting ideologies and shifting belief systems and, dogma. There can be conflicts or challenges coming up over differing belief systems with people in our lives or with the leadership that is coming into power. And this is very much like in the realm of emotions, but also ideas and also action, and where all of those intersect, how we feel, what we believe, and what we're going to do about it. And the difficulty of that with so much changing so rapidly and so much uncertainty and not knowing where it's all going to land. And so, but even though this is a tougher aspect, there's valuable spiritual work, there's valuable kind of inner work to do in that space. And I just want to say that there is this higher truth and this higher law that's at work, despite what's going on planet Earth and what, men are up to, thinking that they control, anyway. This can also have to do with, because it's Saturn in Pisces, this can have to do with the older people in our life, authority figures in our lives, obviously the leadership, but also more like the structures. It can have to do with homes or institutions or, things like that. Obviously government systems on a broader level, but the archetypes are presenting at a spectrum of levels always. And then we have December 9th, the sun is sextile Black Moon Lilith, highlighting our vision or philosophy around the dark feminine. And so this is going to bring up women's issues like, abortion for the collective, this will bring up things like, but Black Moon Lilith deals with all of the dark feminine. And so like for people who have planets at 18 degrees of the fire signs or the air signs, this will be very personal. Even the cardinal and the mutable signs. But this can bring up things like, domestic abuse, abortion, miscarriages. It can bring up, sex trafficking. I mean, these types of issues, but it looks like there's an opportunity for some, I don't know, again, a vision of the upliftment of women and of the dark feminine, just kind of highlighting that. On December 10th, the sun is forming a trine to Chiron, and this is a very healing energy. This brings up forgiveness, apologies, making amends. This can also bring up, you know, great conversations or communications with healers or doctors. For the collective, this can be advances in medicine that are good for everyone. In personal lives, this can be, you know, just reaching new plateaus in your therapy or your recovery, physical, emotional, or spiritual. December 12th, the sun is in a sextile with Vesta, the high priestess goddess, at 21 degrees. This has to do with our devotion and what is sacred to us. This is a beautiful aspect, especially for artists and mystics and people who are fighting for a cause. There's a lot of, I just think, you know, again, inspiration and hope and faith and vision for the future. And December 18th, the sun is square Neptune at 27 degrees. Again, this aspect is personal for people who have planets in the late degrees of the mutable signs, but it's more of, this can be a crisis in faith, this can be deception, this can be smoke and mirrors, it can be fogginess or vagueness or lack of clarity around issues. It can bring up tiredness, napping, exhaustion, you know, a zap in vitality. And again, this is personal for people who have planets in the late degrees of the mutable signs. And on a collective level, it can bring up, you know, death of solar figures, fathers, world leaders. It can just bring up challenges and conflicts around leadership. And in our, you know, for the collective, world leaders, CEOs, kings, presidents, you know, in our personal lives, this can be fathers or coaches or bosses. It varies, the spectrum varies. But those are some of the major aspects that the sun in Sagittarius is making through its journey through Sagittarius season. I will be doing a new moon of Sagittarius video for November 30th, which will begin the new lunar cycle. But the sun ingress chart is about Sagittarius season. So this is when all of our favorite Sagittariuses in our lives are having their birthdays. Again, buy your favorite Sagittarius the gift of a reading. I would love to read for them. I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. I make really cute gift certificates, digital gift certificates that I can give you. And, you know, I just went through the broad strokes of some of the aspects happening this Sagittarius season. I don't write a script. I'm kind of going off the cuff. I made some bullet points of what the aspects are so I can remember the dates and the degrees. But other than that, I'm just transmitting a reading to you guys. I always say a prayer before my reading that, you know, God and the spirit guides and the planets will speak through me and deliver, you know, what's for the highest good and most use for the people who are listening. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And I would love to read for you. I will put a link in the description of how to book a reading with me. You can book a reading on my site, ElianeNicole.com, or you can email me for a reading. And yes, thank you so much for joining me. Have a happy Sagittarius season.